Hey everybody, and welcome in to Clearing the Benches, your one-stop shop for daily fresh hockey content. That's right, if you go ahead and hit your subscribe button right now, every single day we'll put out a new video for you to enjoy about something going on in the world of hockey. Today, we're going to be talking about the Calder Trophy for the NHL's Rookie of the Year. But before we get to that, let's give a quick shout out to our good friends over at SunshineGirlsAZ.com. If you like fun shirts, hockey shirts, hoodies, they've got everything. They've got it for girls, they've got it for kids, they've got it for guys. You're a big guy, they got you covered. SunshineGirlsAZ.com. It is a very fun website to go through. And when you purchase something, remember to punch in CTB10 in the code, and you will receive 10% off of your purchase. Alrighty, let's get into it. The NHL season's winding down. There's only about 15 games left. At the end of the year, they're going to be giving out all the trophies. And today we are asking the question, who was Frank Calder and why does he have the NHL's Rookie of the Year trophy named after him? Alrighty, let's go back in time. Frank Calder was originally from England. When he was young, his parents moved to Canada. And he was the original NHL president, and before that, they were the National Hockey Association. He was the president of both, and I'll tell you in a second how they went from the National Hockey Association to the National Hockey League and why. He created the NHL in 1917 because they were looking to get rid of one of the owners that I guess wasn't falling in line with everybody else in the league, and they wanted to get rid of him, and in return they wanted to bring in some new owners, so they figured they would just wipe the slate clean and they would go from the NHA to the NHL, and that happened on November 26th of 1917. The team that they wanted to get rid of was called the Toronto Blue Shirts. And then in return, they bought in some new owners, and James Norris, who the Norris Trophy, best defenseman in the NHL, is named after. He was one of the new owners that they bought in. Frank Calder was also one of the first guys who was big on inclusion. Segregation was a big thing back then, and Major League Baseball was working its way through it, and it was going to be successful for them. And Frank Calder wanted the same thing in hockey. In 1932, he said, I'm going to start naming the best rookie in the NHL every year. And then a couple of years later, in 1936, he gave the NHL a trophy and said, every year we're going to give a trophy to the kid that's the best rookie of the year. So that's a little bit about Frank Calder, his story, why the NHL Rookie of the Year trophy is called the Calder Trophy, and fast forwarding into this year's race. Listen, it's a one-horse race. We all know that. Bedard, it was almost like the kid had won it before he even put, skates on the ice this year. But he is everything as advertised. You hear a lot of times about guys and, the big fanfare and what they did in juniors, and the guy scored 200 points in 1 year or something. And a lot of times it just does not translate to the NHL. This kid is a different story. To me, he's been seamless. I saw him up close about a week ago in Arizona, and he is just, like I said, everything as advertised, if not better. When you see him up close and just the little moves he's making during warm-ups, and he was, screwing around, throwing in Michigans and stuff like that. When you see Bedard, and then you watch him play in a game and what he's doing against, veterans, and he's schooling guys, and he's just, a lot of highlight goals. The other night, he just had his first 5-point night. So I'm not going to sit here and say that anyone's going to win the Calder Trophy except Connor Bedard, because in my opinion, for sure, he's almost averaging a point a game. He's at 0.98 points per game. He missed some games with the broken jaw. But again, also, the kid came right back And when he came back, it's like he came back with a chip on his shoulder, like he wanted to prove to everybody that he was tough. And the kid is tough. He's taken some big hits with that bubble on, and it hasn't done anything to him. He's just jumped right back up, gotten into the play, and he's dishing out his own hits now. So, in terms of who's going to win, in my opinion, it is going to be Connor Bedard, and he should win. I look at all the other numbers that, rookies are putting up, and we're going to talk about a few of them right now. A lot of kids are really, 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 really good, but they're not as good as Connor Bedard. And, maybe one day they will be, but, can't predict the future, but doesn't look like it's going to happen. Connor Bedard, he's got the it factor. So I'm just going to go ahead and say right now that I'm giving up the Calder Trophy, the NHL Rookie of the Year this year. When they call out that number and, call out that name in June, it's going to be Bedard. But I wanted to look at some other names on here, and I just wanted to, there's going to be some other candidates. I think they put up 3 guys for the finalists every year, and there's going to be, some other names that are going to be coming off of this list that are going to be finalists in there. For sure, Brock Faber on Minnesota is going to be a finalist. I got to think that the Kings might, they got to be scratching their head on that Fiala deal, and they better hope Fiala really ramps it up in the playoffs and, shows that they got equal value back for Faber, because Faber went back to Minnesota, a hometown boy, and boy, is he good. 56 points, playing D on Minnesota. He joins the rush a lot, but there's some impressive things. They are not the most stable team defensively. And, when I look at his numbers, and you see he's a +6 and he's skating 25 minutes a night. That's every other shift. You are out there every other shift for an entire game. That is remarkable. And Brock Faber, I'll say this, in my opinion, if Bedard hadn't put up the big year that he put up, people might be talking about Brock Faber as the lead horse going into the Calder Trophy. Another guy I want to talk about, you've got Peter Kochkatav down in Carolina. Man, this kid came out of nowhere. I didn't see this coming. I don't know if any Carolina Hurricanes fans saw this coming, but this kid's got 18 wins. He's got big-time numbers. He's got a .911 save percentage when I think the league average is around .904. So he's definitely above that. He's got a .240 goals against average, and he's already got 3 shutouts. So hopefully for Carolina and their fans, they found their goalie of the future down there, and he's good. I watched a couple of his games recently because you hear all the buzz about him, and it looks like the kid is as advertised. Whether it's sustainable over a career, a lot of guys have made a big splash into the NHL, and they really couldn't keep up those numbers. So hopefully he's not one of those guys, and hopefully Carolina's found their goalie of the future down there. Same with the Flyers and Sam Ersson, 19 wins. He's a little bit below the league average at .898 save percentage, but he's got .267 goals against, and he's also got 3 shutouts. Now, I know Tortorella has you all blocking shots. He doesn't care if you're a superstar or not. You're going to be giving up the body to block shots, and Ersson has probably been the beneficiary of that this year, but on his own, the kid's got good numbers. When you look at his numbers against the kid down in Carolina, he's got 1 more win. The goals against isn't that much worse. You're talking about a quarter of a goal a game, and his save percentage is considerably lower, but this kid is definitely good, and I could see the Flyers thinking that they've got their goaltender of the future as well. Some other names on here before we get to another guy I want to talk about that are having really good years. And yeah, they're not going to be in the finalists, or I don't think they're going to be in the finalists, but Luke Hughes in Jersey having a good year. They went through some rough times this year. And again, these kids are young. They're getting thrown into the fire. Dougie Hamilton, their big defenseman. He was supposed to be their leader on the back end. He missed almost the whole year. So give it up to a guy like Luke Hughes. Logan Cooley out here in Arizona, especially lately. This kid, he figured it out. It took him about 60 games. He was a little come and go here and there, but now it looks like he's figured it out. He knows where the gas pedal is. And you want to watch some kids that are doing well together. Check out him and Dylan Guenther. They've got them playing on a line together. And as much as Dylan Guenther is a sniper, and I could say this kid might score 50 goals one day, he's also been really good as a distributor with Cooley. Cooley knows how to get out into open space. And if you watch that breakaway the other night, you know, I know Maurice Seider kind of misstepped right before the play came to him, and it looks a little worse for him than it really was. But Cooley, no doubt, took a pass in his skate, still got it up to his stick, went around Seider, went in on a breakaway, and he scored a short-handed goal. So Logan Cooley's definitely another guy. Voronkov in Columbus. Oh, I love watching this kid play. You know, when you watch this kid play, you know, he looks like one of those us against the world guys, and he's just going to like will things to happen. So I like watching him. Also, I didn't like the slap shot empty net goal, but Ridley Gregg, a plus 17 on Ottawa as a rookie, and he's playing. They're giving him ice time. It's not like he's only playing a few minutes a game and he's getting lucky here and there. A plus 17 as a rookie on Ottawa. Yeah, nobody liked the slap shot empty net goal. The whole Morgan Riley thing ensued after that. It was a bad look, and I'm hoping they talked the kid, you know, they sat him down, talked to him and said, hey, you know, reel that in a little bit. It's not really such the great look. But when you look at his numbers, and he scores as well, Ridley Gregg is having a year. The last kid that I wanted to talk about, and I do believe he may be a finalist. I think the finalists obviously are going to be Bedard and Faber, depending on, you know, who the people like that are putting in the votes. You know, you could have Kochtav down in Carolina. But the kid I want to talk about right now on Calgary is Connor Zary. Now, when I look at Connor Bedard, he's played 53 games. Zary was hurt. He's only played 50 games. Look, I know that Bedard's got 51 points, and that's, you know, 22 points more than Zary's got. But one thing Zary's got, again, that Bedard needs to work on, and you got to clean it up on that back end. Bedard this year, for all the good he's done, he's a minus 37. That is way down low in the league, and that is something that, you know, if you're really going to be considered a superstar and not like a paper champion, a guy who only does it on one end, you only play 60, 170 feet instead of the full 200. And I don't think Bedard's like that. This kid's got a high compete level. I think this kid's going to reel it in, and he'll bring in that minus 37. But Connor Zary this year, he's only played 50 games. You know, Bedard played 53. Bedard had 20 goals. This kid had 12. Bedard had 31 assists. This kid had 17. Like I said, it's a 22-point differential. You know, and the kid only played 3 less games. But, you know, Bedard, almost a point a game, 0.98. And Connor Zary came in at 0.58. I know it's almost a half a goal a game less. But to me, Connor Zary coming in at that plus 17 with these numbers tells me he is a well-rounded player. And if he continues to grow like he did this year, you're going to be hearing a lot about Connor Zary in the future. So I'm going to go out on a limb and say if I had to pick my 3 finalists, I'm going to go with Bedard, I'm going to go with Brock Faber, and I am going to take the kid down in Carolina, Kochtav, as the third one on that. And I do believe that'll probably be the order that they finish. Bedard's going to probably win it unanimously, although Faber may get some votes for what he's done. He's had a remarkable season as well. And then, you know, down here, the rest of these guys, we're just going to throw them some honorable mention. And there's a lot of other guys, you know, that are having good rookie years that we did not talk about yet today. You know, Will Cooley on the Rangers is having a good year. There's all kinds of guys that you see, you know, and a lot of these kids, again, they're all young. They're all getting thrown into the fire. You know, you're 19 years old, and now the guy leaning over the face-off circle is like 35. You know, he's got kids that are 3 years younger than you are, and here you are in the face-off circle. These kids have to grow up fast, and when you look at what these kids have done this year, I think they've all got it figured out. You know, it takes a little while before they know how to get the train on the tracks, and then they start it going. But once the wheels start turning, a lot of these kids, it never stops. You know, also other guys, Marco Rossi in Minnesota is having a big year. You know, I don't want to forget about him. And again, if I didn't mention your favorite guy, do me a favor. Here, put it down in the comments section and we can talk about it afterward. But as far as for today go, I just wanted to let you know who Frank Calder was, why the NHL Rookie of the Year trophy was named after him. Again, I think Connor Bedard is going to win it, you know, possibly unanimously. Faber's going to get some votes. Kochetkov going to get some votes. And you might even see one or two of these guys get a vote here and there. So if you could, please don't forget to hit the subscribe button. You can like us. Feel free to share the video. And as we always do here at Clearing the Benches, let them know you're out there.